Hi everyone. Welcome back to Spatial Lens. In this video, we're going to understand remote sensing and GIS. The video is divided into 4 sections. First, remote sensing and its detailed real-world use cases. Second, GIS and its practical applications. Third, the key differences between remote sensing and GIS. And finally, we'll see how remote sensing and GIS work together, and why combining both technologies makes them even more powerful. Let's dive into the world of remote sensing and GIS. Imagine you want to know what's happening in a forest deep inside the Amazon, on a glacier in the Himalayas, or in the middle of the ocean. Visiting these places every day would be expensive, time-consuming, and sometimes even impossible. So how do scientists collect information from these places? They use remote sensing. Remote sensing is the science of collecting information about objects, areas, or phenomena without making direct physical contact with them. Instead of touching or visiting the location, sensors mounted on satellites, drones, aircraft, or even ground platforms detect the energy reflected or emitted from the Earth's surface. This energy is then converted into images and data that help us understand what's happening on Earth. Think of it like taking a photograph from far away. You don't need to stand inside a forest to know where the trees are. Similarly, satellites don't need to land on Earth to study crops, rivers, cities, or mountains. Remote sensing simply observes the Earth from a distance. But here's something important. Remote sensing mainly focuses on one thing: collecting data. It answers questions like, where are the forests? Which crops are healthy? Where has flooding occurred? Which glaciers are melting? How has a city expanded? It tells us what is happening on the Earth's surface. But after collecting all this information, someone still needs to analyze it and make decisions. That's where GIS comes in. Remote sensing use case 1: flood monitoring. Let's understand this with a real-world example. Imagine a cyclone has hit a coastal city. Heavy rainfall causes rivers to overflow, roads disappear underwater, and thousands of people become trapped. Emergency teams need answers immediately. Which villages are flooded? Which roads are still usable? Where should rescue boats be sent first? Visiting every location would take days. Instead, satellites capture images of the affected region. However, floods usually occur during storms, meaning the sky is covered with thick clouds. Normal optical satellites cannot see through clouds because they depend on visible light. This is where radar satellites become extremely useful. Radar satellites such as Sentinel-1 actively send microwave signals toward the Earth and measure the reflected signal. Microwaves can pass through clouds, smoke, rain, and even work during the night. Scientists compare satellite images taken before and after the flood. Within hours, they produce flood maps showing flooded villages, submerged roads, safe evacuation routes, damaged bridges, areas needing immediate rescue. These maps help disaster management teams send rescue boats, helicopters, food supplies, and medical teams exactly where they are needed. After the flood ends, remote sensing continues helping by estimating crop damage, infrastructure damage, and changes in river channels. Without remote sensing, surveying such a large area would take weeks. With satellites, it can be done in just a few hours. Remote sensing use case 2: glacier monitoring. Now let's travel to the Himalayas. The Himalayan glaciers supply fresh water to millions of people. Because of climate change, these glaciers are melting faster every year. But how can scientists monitor thousands of glaciers spread across remote mountain ranges? Again, remote sensing provides the solution. Satellites regularly capture images of glaciers throughout the year. Scientists compare images taken over many years. If a glacier was 12 kilometers long in 2005 and only 10 kilometers long in 2025, they know it has retreated by 2 kilometers. Different sensors provide different information. Optical sensors monitor snow and ice coverage. Thermal sensors measure surface temperature. Radar sensors measure glacier movement, and work even during cloudy weather. Using satellite data collected over decades, scientists can calculate glacier retreat, snow cover, ice movement, surface temperature, seasonal melting patterns. This information helps governments prepare for future water shortages, flooding from glacial lakes, and climate change. Without remote sensing, monitoring thousands of glaciers across dangerous mountain ranges would be almost impossible. 2. What is GIS? Now imagine you've collected thousands of satellite images. You have maps of roads, rivers, forests, rainfall, population, hospitals, schools, and land use. But simply having this information isn't enough. Someone has to organize it, compare it, analyze it, and use it to solve real-world problems. This is exactly what GIS does. GIS stands for Geographic Information System. It is a computer-based system used to collect, store, organize, manage, analyze, and visualize geographic data. Think of GIS as Google Maps with a brain. Google Maps mainly shows roads. GIS not only shows roads but can also analyze traffic, population, rainfall, elevation, hospitals, schools, rivers, land use, and hundreds of other layers at the same time. It asks questions like, where is the best place to build a hospital? Which route should an ambulance take? Which villages are at flood risk? Where should a new school be built? GIS doesn't collect most of the data itself. Instead, it takes data from remote sensing, surveys, drones, sensors, and other sources, combines everything into layers, and performs spatial analysis. In simple words, remote sensing collects information. GIS analyzes that information. GIS Use Case 1. Choosing the best location for a hospital. Imagine a city wants to build a new hospital. At first, this seems easy. Find an empty piece of land and start construction. But what if that land is located in a flood-prone area? What if it is too far from where most people live? What if traffic is always heavy? What if another hospital already exists nearby? This is where GIS becomes extremely useful. GIS collects multiple layers of information. Each dataset becomes a separate layer. GIS overlays all these layers and analyzes them together. These include population density, road networks, traffic conditions, existing hospitals, flood-prone areas, land ownership, future urban expansion. It scores different locations based on accessibility, safety, travel time, available land, and future population growth. Finally, GIS recommends the location where the hospital can serve the maximum number of people while remaining safe and easily accessible. Instead of making decisions based on assumptions, planners make decisions based on spatial analysis. GIS Use Case 2. Delivery Route Optimization. The challenge isn't delivering the packages. The challenge is finding the fastest route. Now think about a delivery company. Every morning hundreds of delivery vehicles leave warehouses carrying thousands of packages. One driver may have to deliver 150 packages. There are hundreds of possible routes. Some roads are closed. Some roads have traffic jams. Some roads are one-way. Some customers need urgent deliveries. It combines road networks, traffic data, speed limits, construction zones, road closures, delivery locations, and customer priorities. Calculating all this manually would be almost impossible. GIS solves this problem using network analysis. GIS analyzes all this information together and calculates the shortest, fastest, and most fuel-efficient route. If an accident blocks a road, GIS immediately recalculates a new route. This helps companies reduce fuel costs, save time, improve delivery speed, and increase customer satisfaction. Every time you track your food delivery or online order, GIS is often working behind the scenes. Difference between remote sensing and GIS. Although remote sensing and GIS are closely related, they perform completely different roles. Remote sensing is mainly a data collection technology. Remote sensing is the process of observing the Earth's surface using satellites, drones, aircraft, or other sensors to collect information without physically touching the object. GIS, Geographic Information System, on the other hand, is a system used to store, analyze, manage, and visualize geographic data to support decision-making. It takes information collected from remote sensing and many other sources, organizes it into layers, analyzes spatial relationships, and helps solve real-world problems. Another major difference is the type of questions they answer. Remote sensing answers, what is happening? For example, where is the flood? Which crops are unhealthy? How much has the glacier melted? GIS answers, what should we do with this information? For example, which villages should be evacuated first? Where should a hospital be built? Which delivery route is the fastest? You can think of remote sensing as the eyes that observe the Earth, while GIS is the brain that analyzes the information and helps make decisions. Final conclusion. Remote sensing and GIS are two of the most powerful technologies in modern geospatial science, and they work best when used together. Remote sensing continuously collects accurate information about our planet using satellites, drones, aircraft, and sensors. GIS takes that information, combines it with other geographic data, analyzes spatial relationships, and transforms raw data into meaningful decisions. For example, during a flood, remote sensing detects and maps the flooded areas. GIS then uses that flood map along with road networks, population data, hospitals, and shelter locations to plan evacuation routes and coordinate rescue operations. In agriculture, remote sensing identifies unhealthy crops, while GIS helps farmers decide exactly where to irrigate, fertilize, or spray pesticides. In simple terms, remote sensing helps us understand what is happening on Earth, while GIS helps us decide what to do about it. Together, they form the foundation of modern mapping, environmental monitoring, disaster management, urban planning, agriculture, transportation, and countless other applications that improve how we understand and manage our world.